Last week, we discussed the American artist Wayne Thiebaud, who creates some very delicious-looking paintings. Wayne Thiebaud makes his paintings look extremely realistic. But how? How can we make our cupcakes look as realistic as Wayne Thiebaud's dessert paintings? If you look closely, Wayne Thiebaud adds shadows to all of his paintings. This is his secret to making his artwork look like you could pick it up off the canvas and take a bite. What is a shadow? What causes a shadow? Take a look at this fun video to find out.
Ready, Bolly? Try and guess these shadows.
It's a dinosaur.
Good one. Now how about this one? Roof, 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 roof.
It's a dog.
Nice.
Hey, Andrew, what makes a shadow?
That's a good question, Bolly. Let's check it out.
As we learned in earlier lessons, light comes from a light source, like the sun. If that light gets blocked by another object, like a tree, it creates a shadow.
Blocking sources of light can create different types of shadows. Now let's step into the light lab and do some experiments with different objects to see what kind of shadows we can make.
The first object we're going to use is a plastic clipboard. I can see my hand right through the clipboard. Most light is passing through it. If I hold it in front of my light source like this, it doesn't make much of a shadow. Objects like this that let almost all light through are called transparent.
Our next object is this plastic lid. Now this plastic lid may look transparent like the clipboard before it, but you'll notice if I put my hand behind it how much more difficult it is for you to see my hand through it. Objects like this are called translucent. Translucent means that some of the light can pass through, but not all of it. Translucent objects leave a shadow like this. You can see that the inside of the shadow is kind of light. Some of the light is passing through, but some of it is being blocked. If I hold the plastic lid up to the light, it will dim the entire surface. If I hold it closer down like this, you can see the sharp outline of a translucent object, while still letting some of the light come through in the middle. The last object we're going to use are unit cubes. Now you can already tell from the shadow in the background here that this object doesn't let any light pass through. The closer I get to the surface, the darker my shadow gets. But if I put it in front of my light source, it will completely block out all the light. An object that doesn't let any light through like this is called opaque. These objects make very solid shadows like the one you see here. Take a look at our three objects again. We have our opaque unit cubes, our transparent clipboard, and our translucent plastic top. Take a look at the shadows they make. Our transparent clipboard lets the most light through and barely makes any shadow. Our translucent plastic lid makes a little bit of a shadow, but you can still see the light through it. And our opaque unit cubes make a really dark shadow, blocking all the light out. As sunlight comes down to Earth, sometimes it gets blocked by clouds. The clouds will make shadows like this.
Try and guess the objects that made these different shadows. This shadow here was found at a restaurant. It's created by these wooden letters. This shadow is created on a curb near the road. It's a fire hydrant shadow. What about this shadow here? It was made by a little girl.
Today, we learned that if light traveling from a light source gets blocked, it creates a shadow. Different objects can create different types of shadows. Transparent means all light passes through. These objects are almost invisible. Translucent means some light can pass through. And opaque means no light can pass through. Opaque objects make really good shadows.
That's a lot of cool stuff about shadows. Let's get back to our shadow puppets. See you, pals.
See you next time!
So shadows are caused by light. When coloring in your cupcakes today, we're going to focus on value and shadows. Both values and shadows make artwork look realistic and are caused by light. At this point, you should have split your paper into 4 sections and have differently designed cupcakes in each section. 4 cupcakes in total. Your cupcakes should also be inked and all pencil lines should have been erased. Now we're ready to learn how to add value and shadows. Value is the lightness or darkness of a color. How light a color is or how dark a color is depends on the light. The part of the object that is closest to the light source will have the lightest value. As you get further away from the light source, the value will get darker and darker until the object completely blocks the light and a shadow is created. The amount of pressure you use when coloring is what will give you different values. When coloring the area closest to the light source, you want a light value, so push lightly with your pencil. As you get further away from the light, toward the middle of your cupcake, push a little harder for a medium value. As you get even further on the opposite side of the light source, push very hard for the darkest value. The cupcake is blocking the light that would hit the surface that the cupcake is sitting on, causing there to be a shadow. When coloring your shadow, you want the value to go dark to light. The closer the shadow is to the object, the darker. The further away the shadow from the object, the lighter. This is a difficult concept. Try practicing a few times before coloring on your final paper. In one corner of each of the 4 sections, draw a sun and arrow pointing to your cupcake so you know where your light source is coming from. Do this in pencil so you can erase it after. You can use colored pencils or crayons to color in your cupcakes. Take your time and really think about what value you should be adding based on where the light source is. The shadows don't have to look exactly like the cupcake does, just the basic shape will do. Erase the sun and arrow from each section once you're done coloring. Last but not least, add a horizon line to each section. A horizon line makes it look like the cupcake is sitting on a table and not just floating in the air. Color in the table and the background for each section, but make sure you keep it simple and don't add too many details. You don't want to take away the spotlight from the cupcake. Once you're done, take a photo and upload it to this assignment.